Good time zone chat. How are y'all doing? You're hanging in? Oh, my camera is whacked. Woo! Hello. Whoa. Let's go there with that. And that's good. Who is here? Hey, Flip. What's up? Hi, Mama. Cthulhu. All hail. What's up, Travis? Alpha Ferg, welcome. James with the 10 months. Seems like 10 months ago. Travis with the 10 months. They must have got here at the same time. Good time zone, Robert. What's up, Yankum? Hi, D. What's up, T-Rex? I don't even know what Liliana does in this set, Buckeye, but I'm going to assume pack one, pick one, probably a good thing. Dreaded Cthulhu, no bot draft yet, probably a couple weeks is usually when they introduce that, I think. As Yankum says. Ikoria was the best draft set ever until the companion nerf. Hard disagree. It wasn't awful. There were things I really liked about Ikoria, but I wouldn't even put it near the list of all-timers. I mean, the cycling problem is a huge factor, but even taking away assuming cycling was fair and balanced and didn't impact anything negatively on its power level, I can't land on all-timer for Ikoria. But again, not bad, just not an all-timer. I don't know, mid, somewhere between in that 7 of 10 range. It did do some really interesting things. So I appreciated what it was taking swings at, but boy, it swung and missed at on some axes that really hurt it as an all-timer. SGC, what's up? Media, how's it going? Evening, Con Mage. What's up, Hat? Yeah, Con Mage, the sealed for the first however many days was a chore. Of course, if they tried that now, I would just draft with you all on Heroku app. I think that the Heroku the existence of MTGA draft.herokuapp.com is strong incentive for them to offer it right away, because if they didn't, we would just do it on a third-party website, right? Yankum likes winning, so you like the format. That's fair. I certainly feel like my win percentage impacts what formats I like. No question about it. Although one of my worst win percentage formats was on stream was Guilds of Ravnica, but I really loved drafting Dimir in that format. But also that was my first streaming format, so it was extra hard for me to play during those times. Just Daddy Kane, I get it. They should have left Companions alone in Limited, but changed for other formats. Decisions like that have high upkeep costs. It's a real big design cost to take something and have two different rules in your game. So you can't just toss that off. It's not that you couldn't do it. You could make the decision to do that, but it's a heavy, heavy decision to say companions work this way in one format and this way in a different format. It's a last resort kind of solution. Hey, Chuggo, welcome back. Glad you could join us today. All-time best limited set that included mutate. Hot takes here, hot takes. But Flip, you're saying cycling just assumed player skill level higher than population, in my opinion. You didn't see broken cycling decks in Diamond plus pods, but pods weren't paired. The draft pods weren't paired by rank, so I don't know what you mean by that, Flip. The games were paired by it, but ostensibly you're drafting against 7 randos, right? Am I wrong about that? If I'm wrong about that, then you may have a point, but as far as I know, we're drafting against 7 randos. First 8 in the queue-ish. Shrines for M21. How many shrines would we expect to see in an average draft? Chicken of Bristol asked that question. If the rarity numbers are the same in this set, because I crunched the numbers for Ikoria to do the cycling count, and I came up in Ikoria with 0.9 copies of an uncommon per draft. So not counting the rare shrine, the M21, if it's the same ratio of rarities, would have 0.9 times 5% chance of that's 5 times 0.9 is your expected quantity of shrines per draft. D is looking for some blog help for English speakers. Anybody wants to help him out with that? Let's see, how many wild cards does my free-to-play account have? Let's see, we have 67 rare, 34 mythic rare, and then a bunch of common and uncommon that I should probably convert into M21 cards now, but I'll do that off stream later today. How did you get 6 shrines per pod, Flip? Oh, there's friendless issues. I haven't tried friend stuff, but I'm sure if there's stuff like that broken, they're scrambling to fix right now. So just sit tight. Oh, did they introduce a bug with the challenge so that MTJ draft doesn't work? I don't think that's how they'd go about it. Corporate greed is something else. So I don't blame the suspicion, but I would think that if they decided that MTGA draft was a problem, they would take a more direct approach with it and reach and contact. I know that when I was working there, we reached out when I was working on behalf of Magic Online. We reached out to people in situations like that and wouldn't do something on the code side. We'd handle it, or at least, but a company is human beings making decisions. So just because in my group we would have made decision A doesn't mean that Wizards as a corporation makes it all the time. But I would not expect Wizards to be introducing bugs to solve a problem like that. Are you going to talk about the Mastery Pass? We talked about it before. Maybe did I not post it? I think I don't know if Raptor has posted an update. I can look because I just have a link to his spreadsheet. Let's see. Looks like No, it looks like Mastery Pass isn't fully updated, but I bet it's this. I think we did it, and it worked out that it was actually a little bit more Hajj than Ikoria. I counted like 400 gems more in the M21 one. They nerfed companions a little too much. I don't know. They made a mistake to even make that mechanic in the first place. It's not a mechanic that you can balance easily. So I don't know. They're lying in the bed they made with freaking companions. Can't believe they made it to print. All right. We're well past the VOD muting. I'm just catching up with chat now. I'm going to scroll down quick and we'll get going. Flip is saying, what I'm saying is that it's self-corrected at high-level competition pods and in-pod play for paper. How do you even know that? Flip, did you ever play in paper? I mean, I guess you could say when we saw it in, like, the only time I ever even did in-pod high-level play in the format was the couple times we did the streamer challenge. So I just don't know how you're getting that data exactly, given that the set wasn't played in paper and was basically heavily, like all the data you're talking about comes from basically Magic Online and Magic the Gathering Arena against 7 randos. So Flip, you have a 1.1 occurrence rate. Maybe the numbers have changed. I just know that my math in Ikoria had 0.9 occurrence rate of uncommons in Ikoria, but it could just be different. Jumpstart dumping a ton of cards into Historic soon as a reason to stockpile some lower rarity wild cards instead of converting them in this set. Interesting, Hat. That's a good point. If we're gonna, I didn't realize Jumpstart was going to be on Arena, actually. There's just too many sets. With my week off, I really tuned out of the Magic world. So anything that happened in the last week, I'm kind of not up to date on very much. Dionysus has sleeves today. That's cool. Does converting the common and uncommon wild cards to M21 cards help with vault progress? Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. You fill them up and then it starts making vault progress faster. But the call out of Jumpstart is a good reason to hold. Hat is probably right. Integrating the Mac client is probably creating a lot of the bugs that may be shaken out of this. And Mama is right. MTGA Draft is not the only third-party site out there, just one of the best. There's been third-party draft sites out for forever. But indeed, it is one of the best. Ooh, there was a bug. So if you bought the Teferi bundle, maybe 10 extra Mastery Pass levels. Yeah, we'll have to see if the Mama points out that if we can't challenge each other, we're going to have to postpone Gauntlet tomorrow. But it wouldn't be the worst in the sense, just the first week of the new set, we'll have fun drafting together. I have commented on the value loss issue before. I'm not going to get into it now because we want to get drafting, but maybe I'll put it on my list to talk about again. Yeah. Oh, and Hat calls out that they actually added protection. So. Well, I don't. That doesn't ring. Media says Melissa, a friend and former colleague of mine, said that they only test in pod play. Yes. and didn't design or think of league play, and that was one of the issues with cycling. The whole in pod, they only test with great drafters could be the issue, but I don't understand how playing outside of your pod matters to the individual power level of cycling decks, unless she's suggesting that it requires people counter drafting consciously in pod to control the deck, in which case, come on, R&D, you should not. Let's not make mechanics that require in pod counter drafting to be contained. All right. Chicken, let's talk about archetypes as we get into it. Well, so final thing, Hat says, Melissa was talking about them only being able to replicate a skilled pod. Correct. They can't replicate cross-pod skill differentials. They can't. R&D, you're incapable of finding anyone in that building with a low skill level at Magic, but who still likes drafting? Don't tell me can't, R&D. Maybe you should rethink how you're testing and get some lesser drafters in there showing you how regular players think. All right. Yeah, absolutely they can provide feedback for play design, Hat. You don't need to be excellent at Magic to be able to explain to a designer what you're having fun with and what you're not having fun with, right? Like it's not there's no correlation, or there may be some correlation, but there's no devastating correlation between lack of skill at Magic and lack of being able to express what is fun. All right. Thanks for your patience. Let's do this. Oh, wait, we have two choices. We can actually do traditional or Premier. Yes, Hodge, let's do it. But talk is fun. You guys are great. So 1 or 3, just a best of 1 or best of 3 here. I'll do either one. Always a lot of questions on day 1 of a set 2. I think it's pretty typical for me to go a little bit later on the chatty chat on the first Thursday after the preview stream. Just a lot of talk. Always a lot of opinions, talk, and things to think about here on a day like today. Best of 1 edges out. Let's do it. Sure, Flip. I trust your linking. Mike, there's always weak drafters that you... There is an... throw a little shade at my former coworkers. There's an endless supply of bad drafters at Wizards of the Coast, believe me. Endless supply.